All right, good morning everyone and welcome to this webinar that's organized by Flexo. And what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about getting more out of your finance processes with SAP Signavio. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. We're going to start with a brief introduction, setting the scene, and next we are going to look at how we can power business transformations via AI with the SAP Business Transformation Management portfolio. Next, we'll move over to how we can introduce AI into processes, into finance business processes. And then next, we are going to jump to a live demo of some of the Signavio modules. We'll have a brief look at the Signavio Process Manager and the Collaboration Hub on the one hand. We'll have a look at Process Intelligence module of Signavio, and then we'll also have a look at a custom agent Flexo has developed, being Flexo Cortex. And to end the session with a wrap-up and conclusion, and afterwards there's time for a Q&A, so don't hesitate to raise questions in the chat, and we'll answer them right after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's get started. Let's introduce ourselves properly. My name is Arne Goedezeune. I'm the team lead of the business transformation team, and I'm also the AI adoption expert. And today I have with me Peter. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, certainly. Peter Danens. I'm also part of the business transformation team as an advisor, and bringing to the team lots of experience, of many years of experience in a lot of different processes. Amongst them is finance, operations, HR, procurement, to step out to the main topics.
All right, thank you, Peter. Now I've scrolled through the participants list. I've seen that there are already quite a number of Flexo customers that are following this session, but for the people that don't know Flexo well yet, a very brief introduction. So Flexo is an end-to-end SAP Gold partner. We're a pioneer in SAP innovation. We were founded in 2004, and today we have a team of more than 600 SAP consultants, and we're basically an end-to-end partner, so the one-stop shop for all your SAP solutions. Now, we don't do just implementations. We do more than that. We also focus on business transformation, which means that we are supporting our customers, and we ensure that the adoption of SAP is maximized in your organization. And last but not least, we also have a strong managed services team that provides a maximum peace of mind and continuous innovation for your SAP solutions. Now, business transformation, it may sound a little fluffy, but let's have a look in practice. What does that mean at Flexo? What are our business transformation services? Briefly, we do business advisory. We are responsible for the implementation of the business transformation management portfolio of SAP. So today the focus is on Signavio, which is the business process management suite, let's call it, of SAP. There's also LeanIX in the light of embedding AI in processes, relying on the data. LeanIX is also a super interesting tool when we are looking at enterprise architecture. And then there's WalkMe, which is the perfect solution to monitor adoption, change management, and learnings management. We also offer key user services during projects. If you are missing the capabilities or the resources, we offer the different key user services. And obviously, we also do business process management, business analysis, mapping the business processes with or without Signavio. And we can also support with consultants that can do requirements engineering. If you're engaging in or looking at a new solution, we have the people here to support you with that. Now, let's move over to the main topic of today. So we're going to have a look at how we see AI in today's corporate landscape, setting the scene. So maybe I'll give the word to Peter to do that from a finance C-level perspective.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Arne. One of the questions we can ask ourselves is why AI is a hot topic, broader than the prompting that we all know. And what we see in today's landscape in general, the business landscape, is a couple of topics that makes us we have the need to have a quicker response on changing topics in the market. But bringing just a couple out of there, the volatile market is one of them. There's a study of McKinsey stating that 75% of the CFOs in general state that their performance has to become more volatile in the last 12 months. We all know that our volatile market brings changes or increases in costs, energy, labor, the supply chain, materials, transports. But that's on the cost side. There's also the availability, which also makes us change courses. And this has been going on since COVID. We have the Ukraine war. Recently, we have the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz with a lot of impacts. This means that we're kind of moving away from our annual planning cycles, where it was quite easy. We made a budget somewhere in September of the current year for the next year. And then maybe we had to look in September, okay, is our landing to be correct? Now this landing is so volatile that we have to change or look at it, I was going to say each month, but almost permanently. So in general, our static finance processes, or in general processes within a company, are not sufficient anymore to make business decisions. So we need this on a continuous base, and therefore we need to understand our processes. We already touched the topic of costs. There's another study from Deloitte stating that cost control is one of the top risks that has been identified. And in general, people are looking at automations or at technology to have a better performance or a better control for these costs. And therefore, we can say the easy one is headcount. We will lose some FTEs. Is that the right decision in the long term? Maybe not, but also in the short term, it's not, because when we make that decision today, the impact is not directly there, and we need impact directly, and therefore again we are going into our process and looking into process efficiency first of all, and automation to become more performant on that level. And that brings us basically to the need of fast and faster insights, and there is a Gartner survey that states that this has become the number one priority for our CFOs. Don't forget that data quality is a major blocker in this, and there we're touching the topic of AI, but AI can be a leverage to validate our data. So these faster insights give us also the possibility to simulate decisions based on our processes, and there, of course, we have to map our processes first.
All right, thank you, Peter. So I think we can agree, due to the volatility, we need to move faster. We need those insights into our data, into our processes, to make fact-based decisions, and this is quite challenging. I think this is high on the agenda for any finance manager or CFO today in the Belgian market, and yeah, I think worldwide in general, given the geopolitical situation. Now, we know or we feel that AI can help, but it's not that straightforward, and it's not super easy. Why? Because of a lack of clarity, we cannot pinpoint where to start, where the improvements should be made on a very targeted state. So we see that initiatives to tackle those challenges, they often start late or too late. And why is that? It's mainly because process clarity is missing. If you are not 100% sure what is every single step in the process, how do you know that you are investing your energy, that you are applying artificial intelligence to a process in the right way? So that process clarity is actually super important. Then a third point, we are facing AI skepticism, not only from the colleagues, the people we work with, but also on the management level. And I think in a broader state, there are some questions around AI. First of all, the first one being, can we trust AI? Can we trust the results AI is giving back to us? And that's where the human check, the human in control of the AI tool and the human check on the output remains super important. You can have great output, but it's still up to a human to decide whether we can use it and what needs to be tailored in the result. The second point, and I already briefly touched upon it, is where in the process are we going to fit in artificial intelligence? Like I mentioned, if you don't have all the steps visible to you or your team, how do you know exactly where to pinpoint the energy? How do you identify the place? Where are we going to embed an AI solution, whether it's a specific prompt or an agent? Where are we going to embed it into the process exactly? And then the third point, and that's when organizations are struggling a lot with, how can we measure the impact of AI in our processes? How do we know for sure that if we have a business process, we have embedded an AI solution in one of them? How can we measure that we are working more efficiently, that we are working faster, or that the quality is higher of that process? So that's a third question that's super important. And I think the answer to this, to most of these challenges related to AI, and also in finance processes, reporting for instance, we need we need process clarity, we need that process transparency. And Signavio from SAP is the designated tool from a Flexo perspective to do this. Now, if you look at the current state of AI adoption in companies today, we see that tools are made more or less widely available. If you're on the M365 suite, you may be using Copilot within the business. If you're on the Google suite, you probably have some Gemini licenses. You can have enterprise licenses for ChatGPT, Claude. If you're in a CRM context, people are maybe working with Canva.ai. We have HubSpot AI. More technical people are maybe using GitHub Copilot. So there's many tools, and they are probably made widely available for business users. The challenge is, if there's no governance around it, if there is no procedure in place, you are merely looking at individual adoption. The tool is available to you, please use it, and then individual users will find a way to improve their own way of working, but you're looking at individual adoption, hence individual productivity that is increasing, which is fine, but the goal is to shift to process improvement with AI, and without some thought or a process behind it, you will stick into that individual adoption. The good thing is, there is a road to integrate AI into your processes, into your teams as a process. And that's why the first statement, it's not one I invented, it's actually from an SAP event. Transformation is a capability, it's not just a project. You don't want to rely on Flexo or any consultancy partner to come to your company and each time map your business processes, explain the latest features in AI. You want to build that capability internally and make sure that you have your own people being capable to analyze the processes, to visualize the processes, identify activities, spots where AI can improve the process. But to get there, you need to develop a network or a framework around it. And it's not that hard. What we propose is developing an AI champions network. And what do those champions need to be capable of? In my opinion, there's three things. First of all, they need to be able to grasp what AI is. They need to understand what is an efficient prompting framework. They need to understand what is an agent, how is an agent built, maybe build an agent based on prompt, but at least they need to have affinity with artificial intelligence in general. Second point is, they need to understand how to slice a process into pieces. So they need to have some process mapping knowledge as well. And then an important third point is, they would also need some people skills. And why is that? Because with this backpack of AI knowledge, process knowledge, and people skills, what can you do? Right? those AI champions, they can facilitate business process engineering workshops. And as a starting point, what are they going to do? They will sit together with key users, business users, do interviews with them to model the processes. And you will see in Signavio, it's really easy to do so. There's even a quick modeler where you can, a business user can simply just add activities and it's automatically integrated into a business process. So that goes really fast with SAP Signavio. They can get feedback on processes. And if you have the model available, you can identify opportunities for AI. We will see in the process intelligence, based on an event log, we can see how much time specific activities take if you're doing them manually, and if we run a second process variant next to it supported by an AI agent, we'll see how much time we gain. So you need to identify the opportunities, and those are typically tasks that have a similar input, that take a lot of time to process manually, and that have a similar output. And if you have the processes visualized, you have identified and prioritized your opportunities for AI, you can start re-engineering or optimizing your processes. Optimization can just be replacing a manual task with an automated task, but if you have new technology available, you have different kinds of agents and tools, automation tools available, you might use that new technology, that new insight, to re-engineer a process completely and just not stick with individual tasks that can be replaced. Think of it when in the Middle Ages or something, when they had to put out a fire, they were doing it with buckets. Well, at some point they made a shift. Well, there's a centralized water system available with hydrants. What if we bring a fire hose and a fire truck to the fire? Then we can extinguish a fire with a fire truck and a hose, rather than keep using better buckets, aluminum buckets. So that's what I mean with, if you have the technology available, let's re-engineer a full process. And last but not least, super important, you have to measure, or should be able to measure, the impact on your processes to see if we are going in the right direction. And we're going to see in a demo with SAP Signavio how we are going to do that. And as an example, we have taken the intercompany reconciliation flow to make it more tangible for you. So, SAP Signavio, I think most of you already heard the name, had some demos, so I'm not going to do a full feature demo. This is not a demonstration of AI features within SAP Signavio. This presentation, this webinar, is about how we will use Signavio to identify use cases to embed AI. So why it is important to have that process transparency. So why should you choose for SAP Signavio? Well, it's a completely integrated business process management solution that will link to your ERP system. We'll have a look at that. And all the insights that will come out of that integration, all the insights that come out of the process modeling you have been doing, it will give you additional value. It will reduce time spent. It will identify opportunities for tasks that are manually that can be automated, which basically makes you more efficient. And if you're more efficient, it will also lead to cost reduction. So basically, investing in SAP Signavio will return quite quickly. And the last statement is, again, last but not least, super important to me. It aligns process specialists, the people that are designing the processes. It aligns them also with the business users. So there's a single user-friendly interface, being the collaboration hub, that allows technical process people to collaborate in a very user-friendly way with the business people. So we'll also have a brief look at that. If you look at it sequentially, how would we typically deal with adopting SAP Signavio? So first of all, we start with modeling, visualizing a business process based on those process engineering workshops. So you do process modeling, you can collaborate with your business users, and that will lead to, first of all, business process maps. But based on those insights, you will also have the right processes, the right use cases to do analytics on those processes, to do process mining. You're not full-blown do process mining on your entire organization. It would be huge. So you're going to target specific business processes, as we'll see, where you will capture the events and going to mine on them and get real-time insights out of your transactional data. And that's how SAP Signavio can support AI-powered business transformations. So very briefly, Process Manager will have a brief look on how the processes look. It allows you to analyze the processes. You have a lot of attributes you can add to them. It provides you really that process transparency, like as a starting point. It can even be the landing page for first-line support for business users. If you navigate to a specific process, you drill down, you see in that activity I'm stuck. In the attributes, there's a manual, a how-to available. So even Process Manager with the Collaboration Hub is a super powerful tool in general. Now, if you want to unleash the potential of process data, we're looking at process intelligence. There's Process Insights, which is a static scan of your system. You have Process Intelligence, where you are going to fetch live data into your intelligence component, and there you can build custom KPI, metrics, automated insights, etc. So voila, that was enough for the theory, I think. Let's have a look at how we put the theory into practice and go with the finance demo. And for the introduction, I'm looking in again at you, Peter, as a finance expert.
Okay, thank you. We were thinking of what kind of process can we show that can bring in added value directly, which is kind of repetitive, but is still using also the same data sets, so where we can put some logic in it and some checks. So we went through the month-end closing and did some cherry picking in there. And we went to the consolidation process as a road towards the management reporting, in which we said, okay, let's look at the intercompany reconciliation. So this can be accounts payable, accounts receivable, it can be trading partners on general ledgers, it can be interest mapping current accounts, and I can go on, in which we are taking the data as is. Then we do the extraction of intercompanies that we want to put aside. Then we can also think of having some adjustments in the system. I'm thinking of participations that we have in the company, that we have a plus or minus value that we want to put in there. Of course, all these checks are prepared by, or can be prepared by an AI agent. As Arne said before, it is an assistant. The decision, we keep it by the human. So it's almost like a 4IS principle that we want to introduce. And the next steps that we go to is adjustments for local legislations before we go into the management reporting pack, which can be the margin analysis, can be a budget comparison, it can be a rolling forecast, and so on. So in this process, we'll check for AI opportunities. Where can AI, again, be an assistant, not a decision taker? And as an example, Flexo has this package called Cortex, which allows us through prompting and through interfacing to extract reports, dashboards, directly out of the SAP system, but not limited to SAP system. So we can combine SAP and non-SAP data in there. So it's another type of assistant to facilitate and accelerate our daily jobs.
All right, thank you, Peter. Let's have a look at the demo. Voila. This is the demo flow that I'm going to walk you through. So first of all, we are going to navigate to the first component of SAP Signavio, being the Collaboration Hub. The Collaboration Hub is typically the central point where any business user can consult a business process. Like I mentioned, if they are looking for a specific step, a specific activity where they are stuck or they want more information about, this is the central point. The thing is, They cannot edit a process in the collaboration hub, but they can find attachments, they can provide comments if a process has changed, which I'll show you as well. Secondly, we'll move on to the process manager component, and that's typically the tool where an AI champion or business analyst will consult, edit, update the business processes, and if they are updated and ready to be published, they can publish it back into the collaboration hub. You can even have an approval flow behind those process editing or process creation if you want via the process governance module. On a third point, we have the process intelligence module. That's where process mining comes into play and where you can build custom dashboards based on real-time data of your SAP system, your ERP system, or you can also upload Excel files, CSV in CSV format or other formats with the data exports from your system as well. So a live connection is not necessarily needed. So if you want to run a simulation, for instance, you can do it with dummy data as well, which is then typically something you will consult as a CFO finance manager. Then we'll have a look at how you can create that connection or how you can do an upload of the data. That's typically something that is done by a consultant, but if you have technical people, they could also have a look at that. And then we're going to have a look also to a dashboard and custom KPIs that have been created into Signavio Process Intelligence, where we can observe AI improvements for a small finance process. Like Peter mentioned, we did some cherry picking. It's not into full detail because it's not we're not drilling down every single detail of a finance process. It's about explaining how AI should be embedded in processes to upgrade or optimize your finance processes. So, I would say let's have a look. I have the video on slide, but I'll move over to the live demo. So as you can see, we have landed in the collaboration hub. This is where the business user, the first step, where a business user can consult a process. I can click on the different activities, and as you see, there is a comment in this one. I can add a comment myself if I want. So for instance, I see validate intercompany eliminations. Well, I think as a GL accountant that there is some room for improvement there to optimize it with an agent or something. So I will add the comment, can we review this process? I think there are AI opportunities here. Thanks. Always be polite. Add the comment. So voila, the comment has been published. So as a business user, I have consulted the processes. I see some innovation perspective. Now, let's have a look at it from a business analyst, an AI champion, what we can do with that. So as you can see, I switch my screen to the process modeler. I will maybe update this one to make sure that the comment is in here as well. So again, we have the same process. For me as a business analyst, it's quite easy to update this process. You see, I can easily drag and drop. It's always a hassle if you have designed the process, you need to add a step in between. I can easily move those activities in my process and so on. So voila, let's put it back nice. I can see the comments that have been created. Let's have the comment section here. And then I see Arne Goedezeunen has added a comment, can we review this process? What I can do, I can accept it, reply, and move on with this. There's a sub-process link behind it. So I would be able to click on that, and then you see I get an option to edit this process. I can open it, I can remove the link and link it to another sub-process. But as we mentioned, I want to improve this process with AI. So I will be opening this one in the editor. So voila, like I mentioned, we are looking at the intercompany reconciliation, and there are some activities that need to be performed. What I've done in this case, there are two companies that need to be reconciled. We have company 1000 that's doing a manual process, and we have company 2000 that is doing the an AI process. Can you still see my screen? Okay, perfect. So first of all, the steps that are in there, we are going to extract the intercompany balances from an ERP system. We're going to load the balances into the group reporting. We will run an intercompany reconciliation, and then we need to detect the reconciliation differences. This activity may cost some time. If we do it, we can do a manual root cause analysis, which might take me a few hours. That will also be the case for company 1000. And then we have a company that has an AI agent doing the job, and it's doing the AI classification of the differences. And then you have a user validating the AI proposal. So we're going to simulate, or we're going to visualize how much time each flow will take into the intercompany reconciliation process. And then obviously some activities need to be performed. The correction entries the post-correction entries need to be done. The reconciliation needs to be confirmed, and then we can go to the management reporting and release those figures. This is the process modular. Like I mentioned, I can edit this process using BPMN. Now I'm not going to dive in too much on this capability or this component. Let's have a look at process intelligence. So voila, like I mentioned, you are not doing end-to-end every single process in your organization. We are going to, based on thorough analysis, business analysis, and AI opportunities, define processes that where we can do process mining. So for demo processes, I have created this one with an CSV upload of information. If you have a look at how that can be done, so what we can do is we can link a process to a data pipeline. I can select the data pipeline if where they are available, let's say. And in this case, I have just uploaded a data set, but you can also extract a data set from your ERP system, enrich it, add additional attributes, and so on. And that's what I've done. I've created an event log, and I've created some case attributes. I can have a look at the data. So here you see the case ID of the event log, the different activities that are in my process. The timestamps are super important to measure the cycle time. And then we have the company 1000 that's not using AI. Then we have company 2000 that has the AI supported flag on yes. So voila, these are my settings, that's my data. Now let's have a look at the dashboard I have created here. So voila, this process discovery flow is created entirely based on the data that I have uploaded. So this, what you see in here, this has not been created manually. This is just a result of uploading that Excel and doing the calculations on, in this case, the cycle time, where we see the manual root cause analysis. It takes 5 hours and 30 minutes for the manual process. We have the AI classification, which only takes 15 minutes, and then we have 45 minutes to validate that AI proposal if you're looking at the cycle time. I have those KPIs customly built in here. So what have I added for my two companies together and the specific set of use cases I have selected? The average intercompany cycle time is 9 hours and 30 minutes. So that's my general overview. And then if I have a look at the manual cycle time, so company code 1000 that's doing the job, so that's this path, it takes them 12 hours to complete their full, if we only look at the completion of their cycle. And then we have the AI supported cycle, which only takes 7 hours, which leads to this average for the cases that we have in here. So these KPIs are customly built, drag and drop. I can put additional filters in here if I want to. this process has been fully derived based on the data. I have classified nothing. Then we have also the process conformance, where we can also validate the cycle time. We can check the variant, the different variant paths that have been created. So voila. If you would do the hotspots, we can also see where they are, but they're now just evenly distributed along the different activities based on the data. And voila, we also have, if there are variants, we have the variant explorer to identify where is the majority of our transactions going. And in this case, you see that there's a lot of time spent, cycle time spent in this part of the process, in this variant of the process. We could have an additional flow from detect reconciliation difference to confirm reconciliation if there are no issues, for instance. So if there's one run or one case where there are no differences, you would see a line in here as well, and that's automatically detected. So based on the variant explorer that has been generated, also purely from the data, like this one. So the variant explorer is a result of the data upload. This can automatically generate the BPMN flow. So the process flow you have seen earlier, this is a result of clicking on this button. And then you can automatically or manually map the events or the activities to the activity in the Process Explorer. So that means you don't have to draw your BPMN flows manually. You can use this feature. So that's, in this case, if you would have visualized these processes, we can see this. Suppose we are not doing this AI process yet. We see that we can detect a reconciliation difference. We see that the manual root cause analysis is a recurring activity. It takes us 5 hours and a half to do so for these cases. And it takes us 1 hour and a half to post the correction entries, which is, if I calculate correctly, 7 hours of work. If we use AI to do it, it takes us a little bit over 3 hours, I would say. So voila, this is definitely a good use case to say, hey, let's have a look at how AI can support this business process. So I hope that in a nutshell, it's clear that if you follow this approach, if you start mapping your business processes to identify AI opportunities, if you have identified one, let's connect or build the data pipeline and map all the different cases and map the event logs, let's say, and the attributes, and then scout for processes where manual activity or a lot of recurring work is done, where there's a high volume of cases that could be processed automatically. And then you can start building the solution and an AI solution in the process and measure based on this data if it's working efficiently or maybe it needs to be fine-tuned. So voila, that's the process intelligence demo. I think we can have a look at what we can do in FlexoCortex. Peter?
Yes, absolutely, Arne. So the starting point is a little bit different, where we have been talking about, for now, processes. This is more dashboarding and extracting the data. So in the demo, we are extracting the accounts payable data, where we just put in a prompt that we want the accounts payable data. And immediately there's a couple more questions that pop up. Which company do you want? Which ledger do you want to fine-tune the data? Here we do it specific for one company, one ledger. We could do it for more data. We could also compare it with accounts receivable. In this case, if we do the comparison to the reporting, what we said before, and the rolling forecast, this would be a possibility to simulate quite quickly. In the meantime, the system has gathered its first data, is giving some analytics for what they're worth. That depends case by case on how we tune it, how we want to fine tune it. And then it starts popping up some KPIs. For instance, the day sales outstanding that we have, the number of invoices that we have, the amount that it represents. And then for the next step, we do the drill down towards the individual accounts receivable accounts, which then again could be a way in the prompt to for instance, give me all invoices that are over 90 days so that we can decide, do we want to make them doubtful or not? Do we need an action towards the customer? This is really the building of the reports. This takes a little while. Once it's done, it will show the report, and then again, depending on the prompting and what's behind it, then we can do the drill downs. It came up with the different figures now, individual accounts, also some graphical designs, and so some keynotes that it's taking back. Now we're doing the same thing for the accounts payable, where we directly prompt a general ledger. For the purpose of this demo, we made an error in the general ledger, which then will pop up that the general ledger does not exist, and it even states that in the previous prompt it was an 8 digits towards a 7 digits, so then can be corrected, and then it goes on to do basically the same process as we had before. The reason why we wanted to show you this is this is quite a standard report. But imagine that you do this with starting from a profit and loss statement, with in our markets that we are today, with prices that are changing, that you can simulate the classical what if in Excel, that you just do the prompting and then you have your different dashboards that come out. I personally think that this would be very nice gain to really simulate based on your own data, that you do not have to extract, because basically Cortex is a prompting using a standard AI agent. In this case, we're using Claude, and it's bridging towards SAP data. I think we can stop the demo. It's not really exciting what's coming afterwards.
All right, thank you for the introduction of Flexo Cortex, Peter. I think reporting is one of the hot topics when it comes to optimization by using artificial intelligence, by using agents, by using efficient prompting. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions on Cortex. I think there's an article on LinkedIn that's shared via LinkedIn also. So to wrap up, and then afterwards we'll move over to the Q&A session. So first statement I wanted to share is, again, transformation, it's a capability, it's not a project. So one of the goals for many organizations today is become process-driven, be proactive rather than being reactive, build an internal business process management team, build those internal AI capabilities, and you will not have to rely on consultants to do every single analysis for you. And we can definitely support you with that in case you would have any questions. And that leads me also to my second statement, that AI should be embedded in your business processes, and it should not be applied on an individual basis only. That means that you could work on developing a champions network or AI agents network, or whatever the name is. Let's say a group of ambassadors that have the AI knowledge, that have the business process knowledge, and that have some people skills, so they can facilitate the process engineering or re-engineering if needed and applicable. And Yeah, the last statement, I think Flexo is the right end-to-end business transformation partner to support you with these challenges. So if you're looking for a partner that wants to collaborate together with you, identify opportunities together with you, help you build that champions network, or help you with the SAP Business Transformation Management portfolio, I think we have a proven track record with implementations of SAP Signavio, of LeanIX, to help you out in getting that visibility. Signavio on your business processes, LeanIX if you're looking at the enterprise architecture. So voila, that was the presentation I wanted to share on for this webinar, and then I think we can move over to the Q&A. Can Signavio extract data only from SAP ERP systems? What about non-SAP systems? So yes, Signavio, if you want to build a connection, Signavio is focusing as an SAP tool on SAP ERP systems. That can be the ECC, that can also be the cloud version, but extracting the data and linking the data is only done on SAP systems. All right, I don't see any other questions popping up. Don't hesitate to reach out if you want to connect, and I thank you all for participating to this webinar. Thank you.